In this video, we are going to see what is big data. First of all, we can see what is data, the quantities, characters or symbols on which operations are performed by a computer, which may be stored and transmitted in the form of electrical signals and recorded on magnetic, optical or mechanical recording media. Then what is big data? It is a collection of data that is huge in volume, growing exponentially with time. We can say it is a data with so large size and complexity that none of the data management tools can store it or process it efficiently. It is also a data but with huge size, we can say. Examples of a big data are it comes from different sources such as business transaction systems, customer databases, and medical records, internet clickstream logs, mobile applications, and also etc. And from real-time data sensors used in Internet of Things environments. The data may be left in its raw form in big data systems or pre-processed using data mining tools or data preparation software so that it's ready for particular analytic uses. Next, we can see the types of big data. There are three types of big data. We can say structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. First, we can see the structured category of big data. It is the easiest to work with because it is highly organized with dimensions defined by a set of parameters. For example, we can say the spreadsheets where every piece of information is grouped into rows and columns, where specific elements are defined by certain variables are easily discoverable. Considering employee database, we can easily identify an employee with a particular employee ID without any difficulty. And considering a payroll database, where the informations will be the identification number, a pay rate, hours worked, how compensation is delivered, etc. Where the schema will define each one of these dimensions for whatever application it is using it. The program won't have to dig in to discover what it actually means, and it can go straight to work collecting and processing it. Next, we move to the type of big data named unstructured, where the structure is in unknown form is classified as the unstructured data. In addition to the size being huge, the unstructured data has multiple challenges in terms of processing or deriving a value out of it. A typical example of such data is a heterogeneous data source containing a combination of text files, images, videos, etc. Nowadays, organizations have a have rich data available with them, but unfortunately, they don't know how to derive value out of it since their format is unknown. Examples of such unstructured data is the output written by Google search, where we can have text files, images, videos, and lot of such data. We can term this output as unstructured data. Then we move to the third category, which is the semi-structured. This touches the line between structured and unstructured. Most of the time, this translates to unstructured data with metadata, that is, data about data is just attached to it. This can be inherent data collected such as a time, location, device ID stamp or email address, or it can be a tag attached to the data later. To get a better understanding, we can if you take a picture of a cat from your phone, it automatically logs the time of picture it was taken, and the GPS data at the time of capture, and your device ID. If you are using any kind of web service for storage like iCloud, your account information becomes attached to the file. And if we send an email also, the time sent, email addresses to and from, and the IP addresses from the device sent from, and the other piece of information are also linked to the actual content of the email. In the both scenarios, the actual content, that is the pixels that compose the photo and the characters that make up the email, are unstructured. But the components that allow the data to be grouped, but there are, you can say, there are components that allow the data to be grouped based on certain characteristics. Next, we move to the characteristics of big data. There are several characteristics of big data. They are volume. The name itself is related to size, which is enormous. The size of the data plays a very crucial role in determining the value out of it. Also, whether a particular data can actually be considered as a big data or not is also dependent upon the volume of data. Next is the variety, which is the next aspect. It refers to the heterogeneous sources and the nature of data, both structured and unstructured. During earlier days, spreadsheets and databases were the only source of data that is considered by most of the applications. But nowadays, the data is in the form of emails, photos, videos, monitoring devices, etc., are also being considered in analysis applications. This poses certain issues or challenges for storage, mining, and analyzing data. Next is the velocity, which refers to the speed of generation of data. Big data velocity deals with the speed at which the data flows in from sources like business processes, application logs, networks, and social media sites, etc. And the flow of data is considered massive and continuous. Next is the variability, which refers to the inconsistency shown by data at times, thus hampering the process of being able to handle and manage the data effectively. Next, we can see why this big data is important. The importance of big data does not revolve around how much data a company has, but how it utilizes the collected data. Where every company uses data in its own way, the more efficiently a company uses this data, the more potential it has to grow. The company can take data from any source and analyze it to find answers that will enable the cost savings, time reduction, new product development, understand the market, etc.